Okay, let's talk about the new album. Okay, The Bull, right?
The Bull.
Okay, what can you tell me about the? You have Frank as a producer. He produced, I think, Rob Zombie, right?
Oh, he mixed, yeah. He
Yeah.
mixes all
Oh,
Rob Zombie
okay.
stuff. Perfect Circle, Tommy Lee. He
Uh,
mixed our album.
Drowning Pool with Rob Zombie.
Do
Just
Matrix.
a lot of today's
Yeah.
bands Frank is involved with, and
As a
Hard-
mixer,
electronic
no,
hard
as a,
rock.
as a producer, right?
What's that?
As a mixer.
Yeah,
No,
as a
as a-
mixer.
oh,
he
okay,
mixed
okay.
it, yeah.
Yeah, Stacy produced.
Basically, yeah, Stacy produced. We went in to cut everything, and basically Stacy produced everything. And
When the record was finished, we were just looking for. Frank just kind of came about. He met Darwin online, I think, and the record was pretty much done. But we were just looking to put a little extra polish on it, and Frank came to meet Stacy in his studio, and he just loved the record, and he decided to come on board, just out of good faith. He loved it. He loved the record, so he put that polish on it that he does for Zombie, and.
Well, and he took it to a whole nother level. He really did.
yeah, I mean, it was basically like when we hooked up with Frank. They come into the studio and we played him. He heard stuff from our previous CD before this one, the Cottom CD, and he really liked that stuff. And I said, "Oh, if you really like that," I said, "Man, we just finished tracking some stuff. If you're interested, we'd love to have you come down and check it out." Not knowing where it was going to go or anything like that, just someone like Frank who really was into our material was, uplifting it, for us. Brought him down, we played him some stuff, and he was just really into it. And like I still tell Frank to this day, it was like he's been part of the band all along and knew what we wanted, and he was just awesome.
Well, what's great about it is that it wasn't a job for him. Like it's the type of music he likes, and so it wasn't like he needed the money and I'll just take on something and mix it. It was like I like that kind of music. I know how to mix that kind of music. I find that's my cup of tea.
So he fit in the
yeah, so he
He knew
was
exactly what to
passionate
do
about
with
it. He enjoyed it, which makes a difference, I think, and you can tell. 'Cause-
Nobody's ever been able to
Yeah.
to bring our stuff to life like it's supposed to be, except for Frank.
So when are you gonna be release the album?
The digital release is February 24th.
Okay,
The physical release is March 10th in the stores.
in the stores.
Yeah.
Okay, how did you get to be promoted by Chip? Chip is.
The label that we signed with, World Sound, out of Seattle,
Oh, okay.
they work with Chipster PR, and so they took care of all that
No, that's good.
for us. And Chip's doing an awesome job. It seems great. So
Yeah. What about the expectation of the new album?
I have high hopes.
Yeah, we have great
I
expectations
mean,
about
people
it.
will like it. I think there's something on that record for everybody.
People are really excited about it. Everyone that hears tracks, every song is so good on this, and all my friends that have heard stuff, they're like, I love this song, and everyone across the board is pretty excited, and so are we, obviously. So.
Goes into the Japanese language. There's a song that you say something.
Oh,
For you.
for you, yeah.
Yeah, for you, yeah. It's funny. You like Japanese culture or just it was a?
I love Japanese culture. My girl's half Japanese, and I love Japan. I've been to Japan 5 or 6 times, and I could live in Japan.
Yeah, don't look at the review. I was saying a joke about. I mean, you say arigato. It's arigato. My English is bad about the accent. So I hear your accent. You say arigato. In mostly like in English accent. And it sounds funny to me, It sounds funny when I see my own interviews.
Well,
CD
my
releases
girl's
in
dad's
different languages?
100% Japanese, so I just took it from him. It's probably different
Yeah.
dialects from across the country as well, but I asked everything from him.
Yeah,
I
but
asked him for everything. So.
Yeah, actually, it's the best song. It's the one that I really enjoy.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, it's my favorite song. What about the influences? I heard things. I compare at some point the album, like there's one of the songs that sound like The Cult, for example, for me, okay? Other of the songs sound like Static X, the band? What about your influences? I mean, tell me about
We're all
you.
different. Stay still.
You talk about Pantera, right? Okay.
Yeah, I'm really weird because I'm a fan of guitar, being a guitar player. I love hard rock and metal, that's where my heart is, but I love all types of music, depending on what mood it is. As long as the song's good and it has a great beat, I can listen to anything, so I'm a strange breed. I mean, I can listen to country, I can listen to pop, I can listen to rap, and somehow it all blends into my writing style, and which is good, I guess, and bad. But I love music, so I'm bad. You can pull from any bag and find me in there somewhere. But my heart's in the metal and hard rock.
Okay.
From my standpoint, it's a little different because I'm not part of the actual songwriting. I like to think that some of the conversations that we have in our relationship that we've had for years influences some of the writing, and maybe lyrically Stacy's inspired by it. But what brought me close to the band was that I had a content that had story behind it, that I saw that was very visual to me, coming from like a movie, like I just would see imagery and stuff like that, and that's what inspired some of the visuals in the show. So I like bands that kind of have a mystique, or there's definitely meaning behind it that's kind of overall and not just on an individual song basis, like a Radiohead or
Okay.
I don't know, there's not very many bands like that actually. So I mean, it's weird. My influence for this band is the band itself, because I came on much more from trying to make it a visual, like something interesting to watch, and just in our art, and and Darwin's actually kind of, and Maddie, we've all kind of now contributed to that. It used to start from me, and now like we're all artists, and our own stuff is kind of in-house. And in terms of influence into music, so I didn't have an influence. It's more of an influence, and it comes from this else. It's like I heard the music and I said, this is how I see it. I mean, and sitting down with Stacy, and asking him what it meant to him, and it's funny because I wasn't far off, but at the same time, there's songs that you listen to and people have an opinion on what they're about, but it might not have anything to do with what was written, but it does conjure an imagery, and that's all that matters. Really, it doesn't really matter exactly what it was written for. But
Okay.
that's what concerns us. If that makes any sense, I know it's kind of roundabout.
No, it's okay, but okay, let's say if I have to write again a review of the new album, name 3 bands that it will be not similar, but it will something from here, just to lead the people,
Genre-wise and kind of just the style of
Yeah,
it.
just
Yeah.
3 bands. Nine
Yeah.
Inch Nails,
Nine Inch Nails.
Pantera, and then just what would be one good solid commercial rock and with electronics, like people say orgy, some people say orgy. It's different influences
Yeah,
for
exactly.
every different person who listens to the album can hear a multitude. The biggest influence for me is tribal music.
What?
Tribal music, like tribal drums. I'm a huge Rammstein fan, and I love Nine Inch Nails. So those are my biggest influences.
The great thing with this band is, going back to what I said about the mix of music that I'm a fan of, and it's really hard to just pick 3 bands that we would sound like because of that reason. When I write a song, and I'm sure Stacy's probably the same way, we don't write a song to fit in with the Panteras or the Nine Inch Nails or the Static X's.
No, it's okay.
But
I got it.
we just write a song. But when we all come together and play that song, it is Carbon 9. Even if I write a heavy riff that is inspired by, I might have jammed a Pantera CD and was like, man, that was awesome. Now I just want to play something heavy. When we get together, it no longer sounds like Pantera, so it's really hard to find that influence because we just took it to the level of Carbon 9.
And the process of the songwriting is a little bit more backwards than most people. Basically Stacy writes, he'll have the sequence or a riff, or Darwin comes up with a guitar riff, and once the song's put together, then the drums go in, then the bass, and then the vocals go last. So this process is I think this process is what makes Carbon 9's music unique to the way it's written. A lot of the stuff is a lot of the drum parts are sitting down with Stacy and creating spur of the moment. Like it's instead of me sitting for days and days rehearsing a part, we create right at that moment. Whereas
As you're tracking,
I mean, as we're tracking, and it really, he's, I don't know how to explain it. I'm wording it really bad, but he's building something. He's building something, the foundation up, which is